Homeless community in our area is growing, so are illnesses and injuries. That's why the Project Hope's mission is to help them find the medical attention they need. Today, they held their third winter walk to raise awareness with a special guest speaker. 7 News reporter Abby Nelson tells us that story.
Imagine being the sickest you've ever been in your life and being discharged due to the need of space in the hospital, then being told you can no longer return to your house, all to hear your name being called out in the middle of the night.
I had gone outside the shelter. My husband was trying to find an alternative place to stay, and I was sitting on the bench sobbing uncontrollably. And it seemed like forever that we were there, but it really, in fact, wasn't. Lo and behold, just so happened to be that this group that I now know as Project Hope just happened to be making rounds that night at the Salvation Army. I'm sitting outside with my walker in front of me, watching my husband pace back and forth, and I hear, "Who's Karen? Where is Karen?"
That night, Karen and her husband found who she now calls her angels, Project Hope, and their winter walk is the only fundraiser they do to raise funds to be able to save those just like Karen.
We have about a dozen people each year that die on the streets of Wheeling, and we have a lot of people who die of chronic illness and disease. So unfortunately, the funds for a medical respite and hospice for the homeless are needed because we have people who are getting discharged from the hospital and they're very sick and they can't go back to a tent or a homeless shelter, so they need a place where they can rest and recuperate.
And although Project Hope's goal is to help each and every person out there, some just stick to their own ways, and they may just create a tradition like Freddie Joe Blake.
He used to panhandle beside Perkins, and people would give him food, and he would take the food and give it to other people that didn't have any food, like down underneath the Mount Deshonal Bridge. He would take everything he got for the day and give it to everybody else. He just stood there and gave everybody free tickets to heaven.
And now LaDonna carries on her dad's tradition during the winter walks. Reporting in Ohio County, I'm Abby Nelson, working for you.
Project Hope saw the largest turnout they have ever seen this year. They say they plan to continue this walk for years to come.